Hi guys, welcome to another lecture in this series of lectures on interpretation of dreams. Now, as we're moving forth in the course, there are certain things that you need to keep in mind when we are reading this piece of work, okay? Firstly, this piece of work, it remains to be this controversial, not just because of all the theories that have been drawn in it, but also because of the fact that, similar to Plato in a lot of senses, um, with this piece of work, uh, what is happening is that there is a departure towards the attitude we have for dreams, right? Um, Dreams, as in not dreams that we say, oh, I dream, of going to this place for vacation. I dream of like buying this, I don't know, buying this shirt, buying these shoes, something like that. Here we're talking about dreams like the dreams that you see when you're asleep. Now, those dreams, they've traditionally been seen in a lot of other ways, right? Like, for example, with Yeats saying something like, the world's full of magical things, patiently waiting for your senses to grow sharper. Or his leaning towards mysticism and all of that stuff. With a lot of different religious texts talking about dreams in other ways. Here, with this piece of work, we're just saying that when you're sleeping and the dream that you're seeing is basically what you were internally wishing for. Now, why and how does that become controversial? Because in a lot of religious contexts, there are practices where, people would recite something, go to sleep, and they'd see a vision or something like that. Similarly, I think I already mentioned that a lot of people have problems with dreams, right? Like what in the mystic world we call psychic abilities. Some are able to foresee an event. Some are able to foresee something in a symbolic or metaphorical form of dream. Now, this piece of work is demystifying all of that, taking away that that interception of, for example, like when we talk about medical science also, right? There have been instances where, say, somebody's heart stops pounding all of a sudden. And the explanation can be, oh, this is a cardiac arrest. But then when we talk about the whole field of mysticism, then it's a lot of things, right? Like the angels came to take the soul. Something like, oh, it was this person's time. There are other beliefs, like there was evil magic casted upon this person. Lots of stuff like that. Sometimes we've also seen somebody whose heart may have stopped pounding, and then they were probably put through a certain treatment or something. They came back to life. Sometimes nothing happened, but still a person came back to life. So there are all of these things. Now, with this piece of work, the problem is the theory of it is very constricting. It kills all room for your senses to grow sharper. So, for example, if you're seeing, according to this piece of work, if you're seeing someone dying in a dream, it's because you want to see them die, or it's because you were wishing them that. that. Um, because this piece of work is not even calling your dreams mental rubbish, right? Other than the whole study of mysticism and all of that stuff, um, there's also a whole theory where, it's like, no, but it's just like psychedelics or something like that. Here we're taking away all of that, um, room for doubt, um, room for a second thought, and we're straight away saying that no, if this is what you're seeing, this is what you're wanting. As I said, like completely dismissing the idea of visitations, anything else like that. In simpler words, it's like wolf in a sheep's clothing, which we're going to discuss about it, what people say, but just trying to explain why it affects people so deeply, and why is it so important to understand that that the effect of this course on your conscious being and your unconscious being will be heavy. Because these are heavy thoughts, right? Say you've seen somebody die in a dream, and now all of a sudden in this course I'm saying because you wanted them dead. That. So this piece of work, it's controversial also because it's very constricting, very do or die kind of thing, which is usually not the case with literature. Of course, it also, because he went on to become a philosopher and a famous one. In this piece of work, there's also talking about treatment of hysterical patients, which again, if you were to look at other literary contexts, like say the bell jar, that was also somebody prescribing a treatment. That's where it all goes wrong. That's where it all goes wrong. It's very similar to Plato, as I said, but at the same time, very latent content. When we're talking about, even in literature, when we're talking about, especially now in modern criticism, when we're talking about treatment of characters, right, we're always talking about how the characters' boundaries have been taken care of, etc., etc., and that's how you develop better characters. But here, the thing is that the whole idea of multiplicity is being killed with the introduction of hysteria. That, okay, no, this is a hysterical person, so this is how they're supposed to be treated. Not going to get into how it impacts people or how it may have impacted people over time right now, but we'll discuss in the upcoming lectures. But want you guys to keep this stuff in mind when we're doing the course. Because at the end of the day, when you talk about hysteria also, what is hysteria? It's diagnosing somebody just like that, and not just diagnosing them, but also prescribing them to a treatment just like that. So we'll talk about it in detail in the upcoming lectures. Don't forget to do the task with this lecture, and don't forget to go through the notes. See you guys in another lecture, and also press the bell icon to stay updated for whenever a new lecture drops in. as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel.